Chakshur Militanyena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavarinyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tuse Namaha. Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha. Reading from Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta by Śrīla Kṛṣṇadāsa, Kavirāja Gosvāmī Maharaj, and purports by Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swāmī Prabhupada. And we are at Madhya-līlā chapter 7, the Lord's Tour of South India. Text 109. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest his spiritual potencies at Navadvip, but he did manifest them in South India and liberated all the people there. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowering of others can be understood by one who is actually a devotee of the Lord and who has received his mercy. If one does not believe in the uncommon transcendental pastimes of the Lord, he is vanquished both in this world and in the next. Whatever I have stated about the beginning of the Lord's movement should also be understood to hold for as long as the Lord toured South India. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the holy place known as Kṛṣṇadāsa, he saw the deity and offered prayers and obeisances. Jai Sachideva, Jai Saraswati Didi, Jai Śrīla Gurudev. While at this place, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in his usual ecstasy of love of Godhead and was laughing, crying, dancing and chanting. Everyone who saw him was astonished. After hearing of these wonderful occurrences, everyone came to see him there. When they saw the beauty of the Lord and his ecstatic condition, they were all struck with wonder. Just by seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone became a devotee. They began to chant Krishna and Hari and all the other names. They all were merged in a great ecstasy of love, and they began to dance, raising their arms. Always hearing them chant the holy names of Lord Krishna, others also became Vaishnavas in those villages. By hearing the holy name of Krishna, the entire country became Vaishnava. It was as if the nectar of the holy name of Krishna overflooded the entire country. After some time, when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his external consciousness, a priest of the Lord Kurma deity gave him various offerings. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood of preaching has already been explained, and I shall repeat the explanation. In whichever village the Lord entered, his behavior was the same. In one village there was a Vedic Brahmana named Kurma. He invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home with great respect and devotion. This Brahmana brought Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, washed his lotus feet, and with his family members drank that water. That Kurma Brahmana, with great affection and respect, made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eat all kinds of food. After that, the remnants were shared by all the members of the family. The Brahmana then began to pray, "O my Lord, your lotus feet are meditated upon by Lord Brahma, and these very lotus feet have come into my home. My dear Lord, there is no limit to my great fortune. It cannot be described. Today my family, birth and riches all have been glorified." The Brahmana begged Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "My dear Lord, kindly show me favor and let me go with you. I can no longer tolerate the waves of misery caused by my materialistic life." Purport. This statement is applicable for everyone, regardless of how rich or prosperous one may be. Bhai Narottam Das Thakur has confirmed this statement. He states that the materialistic way of life causes a burning in the heart. One cannot make any provisions for the troublesome life of the material world. It is a fact that one may be very happy as far as riches are concerned, and one may be very opulent in every respect, yet one has to manage the Visayas to meet the demands of the body and of so many family members and subordinates. One has to take so much trouble to minister to others. Narottam Das Thakur therefore prays, thus one must become freed from the materialistic way of life. One has to merge himself in the ocean of transcendental bliss. In other words, one cannot relish transcendental bliss without being freed from the materialistic way of life. It appears that the Brahmana named Kurma was materially very happy, for he expressed his family material opulences. He wanted to travel with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the Vedic way of civilization, one should leave his family after attaining 50 years of age and go to the forest of Vrindavan to devote the rest of his life to the service of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Don't speak like that again. Better to remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna always. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further advised the Brahmana Kurma, "If you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, if you follow these regulative principles, we will again meet here, or rather, you will never lose my company." Thus I have described the Lord's behavior elaborately in the case of Kurma. In this way, you will know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dealings throughout South India. Thus Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would remain at night in one place and the next morning after bathing start again. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, the Brahmana Kurma followed him a great distance, but eventually Lord Chaitanya took care to send him back home. There was also one Brahmana named Vasudeva, who was a great person but was suffering from leprosy. Indeed, his body was filled with living worms. Although suffering from leprosy, the Brahmana Vasudeva was enlightened. As soon as one worm fell from his body, he would pick it up and place it back again in the same location. Then one night, Vasudeva heard of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival, and in the morning he came to see the Lord at the house of Kurma. When the leper Vasudeva came to Kurma's house to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was informed that the Lord had already left. The leper then fell to the ground, unconscious. When Vasudeva, the leper Brahmana, was lamenting due to not being able to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord immediately returned to that spot and embraced him. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched him, both the leprosy and his distress went to a distant place. Indeed, Vasudeva's body became very beautiful to his great happiness. The Brahmana Vasudeva was astonished to behold the wonderful mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began to recite a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, touching the Lord's lotus feet. He said, "Who am I, a sinful poor friend of a Brahmana? And who is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in 6 opulences. Nonetheless, he has embraced me with his 2 arms. Gopal, what are the 6 opulences of Krishna? Do you know what is opulences? Do you remember?
Not well.
Okay. He is the most beautiful. He is the most powerful. I hope I know. He is the most knowledgeable. He is the most rich. He owns everything, right?
Yeah.
He is the most famous, right? There's nobody more famous than God, and he is the most renounced. So he's for himself and by himself, so he can be renounced.
Renounced?
So, again, you? 6.
Opulent, rich, beautiful, powerful, yes.
Renounced.
Like,
Knowledgeable.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Remembering. Right?
Yeah.
So also good words to write down, and
Yeah.
then you have more to your in the dictionary.
Yeah.
The Brahmana Vasudeva continued, "O my merciful Lord, such mercy is not possible for ordinary living entities. Such mercy can be found only in you. Upon seeing me, even a sinful person goes away due to my bad bodily odor." Odor? You know odor?
Odor?
Odor is smell.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yet you have touched me. Such is the independent behavior of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Being meek and humble, the Brahmana Vasudeva worried that he would become proud after being cured by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To protect the Brahmana, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised him to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra incessantly. By doing so, he would never become unnecessarily proud. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also advised Vasudeva to preach about Krishna and thus liberate living entities. As a result, Krishna would very soon accept him as a devotee. After thus instructing the Brahmana Vasudeva in that way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from that place. Then the 2 Brahmanas, Kurma and Vasudeva, embraced one another and began to cry, remembering the transcendental qualities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus I have described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reclaimed the leper Vasudeva and so received the name Vasudevamrita Prada. Thus I end my description of the first tour of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his visiting the temple of Kurma and his liberating the leper Brahmana Vasudeva. One who hears these pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great faith will surely very soon attain the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I admit that I do not know the beginning nor the end of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. However, whatever I have written, I have heard from the mouth of great personalities. Purport. The name Vasudevamrita Prada is mentioned in the verses composed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. When a person actually revives his consciousness with thoughts of Krishna by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he revives his spiritual life and becomes addicted to the service of the Lord. Only then can Only then he can act as an acharya. In other words, everyone should engage in preaching, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, one will be very much appreciated by Lord Krishna and will quickly be recognized by him. Actually, a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must engage in preaching in order to increase the followers of the Lord. By thus preaching actual Vedic knowledge all over the world, one will benefit all mankind. O devotees, please do not consider my offenses in this regard. Your lotus feet are my only shelter. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Kṛṣṇadāsa narrate Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, following in their footsteps. So this chapter ends, and then we get chapter 8, the talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy. Very beautiful, very high, very everything exalted. So we are looking forward to reading that. Jai Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Madhya-līlā, chapter 7, the Lord's tour of South India, ki jai. Jai Śrīla Kṛṣṇadāsa, Kavirāja, Gosvāmī Maharaj, ki jai. Om Vishnupat, Vishwavarena, Sila Esi, Bhakti Vedanta, Swāmī Prabhupada, ki jai. Jai Śrīla Gurudev. Then we are reading from The Loving Search for the Lost Servant.
Sorry, what was the next chapter of the Chaitanya?
Of this latest one? Chapter 7.
Chapter 7, the next one is?
Chapter 8.
Okay.
Very famous, very high.
It talks between Krishna and Mahaprabhu?
No, Ramananda Sambat, right?
Ramananda Roy.
So I'm not there.
Madhya-līlā.
Yes.
Madhya-līlā chapter
8.
8.
Well, yes.
I think that chapter in Loving Search for the Lost Servant, Sonhood of God, we finished, right? Okay. Then we start with the chapter Beauty and Love. Knowledge-free devotion. The innermost hankering of every living soul is for beauty, love, affection, and harmony, not power, knowledge, or anything else. This is the diagnosis of the whole creation in time and space. Their common cause is one, but it is rare for a soul to reach such a clear stage of hankering for reality as to understand this point. Few souls are to be found in this world who are really conscious of their innermost necessity, who realize, we want Krishna, we want Vrindavan. Vidyatek hridaya grantis, chidyanti sarva samsaya, kshiyanti sasya karmani, mayi dristi kilatmani. Our inner aspiration for rasa, ecstasy, is buried within our hearts, which are tied down and sealed. But hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna breaks the seal on the heart and allows it to awaken and open to receive Krishna, the reservoir of pleasure, ecstasy himself. Here Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, there is a knot within our hearts, but that knot will be torn asunder by Krishna consciousness. At that time, the flow of our innate tendency for divine love, Swarup Shakti, will inundate the whole heart. When the knot of the heart is torn apart, then, as the sleeping soul awakens, the Koloka conception within will emerge and inundate his entire being. You know what is knot? A knot?
Not, yes,
A knot? Like with a rope?
Nodo?
Nudo.
Okay.
Knot.
Okay.
Like with a knot, with a rope, you make a knot.
Yes.
Like that. That is a knot. That is in our heart.
Yes.
That's why we cannot. And by repeating, hearing about Krishna's pastimes, Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we get taste for it. That knot slowly starts to unravel, dissolve. And then, when the knot, many knots in the heart, because knots are desires. Knots are plans that we have. These are knots in the heart. Then Krishna cannot come through completely in the heart. And if Krishna comes, if we have that fortune that he comes once in the heart, then he will conquer the whole heart by our sincerity, by our surrender, and by our devotion. Then Krishna will come and conquer the whole heart. If he once come, then he will conquer. If we have that fortune of, yes, my Lord, I'm sincere, I want you, I need you in my life. But we have to be, it's not a cheap thing, Krishna consciousness, right? It is the highest of the highest of, everybody wants that love. Everybody wants that high love, that high beauty, that high charm. So it's very precious. So we are looking for that, and he's looking for us. So from both sides. That is this whole book, the name, Loving Search for the Lost Servant. So if we are sincere, then step by step, little bit by little bit, we show him, my Lord, I have so many knots in my heart, I don't know how to do it. Please come, help me. That is already the prayer. That we don't know how to do it. But if we want him, that is a good enough prayer. Like, I don't know how to do it, I don't know how much I want you, but actually I want you. Please help me, come in. And then we show that by chanting, actually. Like by chanting. Sometimes I always say that. Chanting, you're tired, you're depressed, you had it. Take the beats. Then you take the beats. To show, I need you, my Lord, in my life. But this is apparently a difficult problem. How is it possible that all our doubts may be cleared? Is it possible for the finite to know everything? This statement seems rather inconsistent. It seems absurd. The Upanishads, however, say, who knows him knows everything. Who gets him gets everything. How will the finite know that he has everything? That he has known everything? It appears absurd, but it is confirmed in the scriptures. And if this problem is solved, then all problems are solved automatically. The finite will realize wholesale satisfaction. All his inquisitive tendencies will be satisfied. This is confirmed not only in the Upanishads, but also in the Srimad Bhagavatam. When I first came to the Gaudiya Math, I mixed very carefully with the devotees. I thought, they say that what they teach is the only truth and that all else is false. This is a bitter pill to swallow. They say, everyone is suffering from ignorance, and what we say is the right thing. I thought, what is this? A sane man cannot easily swallow such a pill. I also could not digest it so easily at first, But what they were saying was confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. All these authorities say, yes, it is so. If you know him, everything is known. If you get him, everything is gotten. Srimad Bhagavatam 4:31-14, in a verse similar to the above line from the Upanishad, also says that all doubts are cleared by Krishna consciousness, and as a result we come into real knowledge. There it is written, by watering the root of a tree, all the leaves and branches are automatically nourished. Similarly, by supplying food to the stomach, all the limbs of the body are nourished. In the same way, if we satisfy the central conception of the Supreme Absolute, all our obligations are automatically fulfilled. If we put food into the stomach, the whole body is fed. If we pour water on the root of the tree, the whole tree is fed. In the same way, if we do our duty towards the center, then everything is done. This is the greatness, the mysterious position of the absolute center. He has control over the complete whole. This is the peculiar position of the center in the system of the organic whole. If a particular position of the brain is captured, then the whole body is controlled. One needle in that particular section of the brain and all the functions of the body will be paralyzed. The peculiar position of the absolute center is something like that. So the impossible becomes possible. Suppose I'm a poor girl who has nothing. Ordinarily, it would not be possible to acquire anything. But if I marry a rich man who is the owner of a big property, I can have command over many things by my relationship with him. Although we may be poor, our relationship with a powerful master makes us the master of many things. In the same way, the absolute center controls everything, and our affectionate relationship with him may endow us with the command of many things. This is how it is possible for the finite soul to have possession of everything, through the subtle link of affection. Through Krishna everything is possible, and the nearer we come to him, the more we shall catch. His influence inspires his devotees, and all his qualities fill their hearts. Sarva Maha Guna Gana Vaishnava Sarire, Krishna Bhakti Krishnera Guna, Shakali Sansare. Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Madhya-līlā 22:75. In that way, although a devotee is not himself a master, through the link of love, he can be master of anything. This is the line of thought explained by Srimad Bhagavatam and the Upanishads. Without having a real connection with the absolute center, your attempts to know everything will be useless. If you try to know even a particle of sand, lifetimes will come and go, millions of lives will pass, and you will continue to analyze sand, finding no end to understanding even one particle. So we stop here for today. So what is the link to have the connection with the absolute center? What is the main thing? The main thing? It is love. To do everything what we do with love and affection. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj was the guru of love and affection. And he showed us how to apply all these high teachings of Srila Guru Maharaj who, you can say high teachings, but also simple teaching. It's for everybody something. But to read the books of Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Govinda Maharaj spread all these teachings to all of us. It's not that there is, it's for every level there is in Guru Maharaj we can understand. And it all has to do, especially by the teachings of Srila Govinda Maharaj, whose Avirbhav, divine appearance day, is tomorrow. It all has to do with love and affection. Because otherwise it doesn't count. If there is no love and affection in our service, it doesn't count. It is an automatic thing, or we do our duty. Maybe in the plane of karma kanda that we get pious activities, like accumulated pious activities. But if we want service proper, then we have to add love and affection. And how do we get love and affection? By humility, by tolerance, by giving honor to others. I read also yesterday, if we cannot be humble, then we will not receive from the devotees. We will not receive things from the devotees. If we are not tolerant, we cannot be benefited by the devotees, by others. And if we are not give honor to the devotees, then we will always be disturbed. So how important is this? What Srila Govinda Maharaj, almost in every class he mentioned. Be humble, be tolerant, and give honor to others, and don't expect any honor for yourself. Jai.
Yeah.
Any comments, adding something? Jai, loving search for the lost servant. Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshidhadev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai. Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Jaya Saparikara Sisi Guru Kuranga Sundar Radha Kavirāja Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Rakak Śrīdhar Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Mat Sri Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sapasada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Sapasada Sri Mama Prabhu Ki Jai. Jaya Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai. Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Ganga Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Purushottama Dham Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Mat Ki Jai. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Mat West London Chapter Ki Jai. Go-karters Ki Jai. O glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. O glories to the world devotees Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivacakacharya Varya Astotra Satasya Srimad Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Gosvāmī Avirbhav Mahotsav Adivas Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.